even feel comfortable in your own skin. I rap my ass off. I'm fighting a champ with the glass jaw at the Garden of Nassau. See me, couple hood niggas behind stars. I heard you put a couple good niggas behind bars. I might never sell that much, but you could bet your last two
What is
quarters
up,
I'll
guys?
never
Welcome
tell
to
that
another episode of Maximilian Must Know. We're going to look at what I think is a discontinued designer scent today that has a little bit of a cult following out there. And the fragrance is called Power, and the house is called Kenzo. Now, this is my third bottle from the house. I also own Jungle, which is excellent, and Low Par, which is okay, and this guy. And on my purchase list from this house, I'd like to also grab the discontinued fragrance called Air and Kenzo Om, and then I think I'm done. But you never know. And before we talk about Power, let's take a look at this fragrance from Kenzo. Let's take a look at the house of Kenzo, excuse me. This was a house that was started in 1970 by a Japanese gentleman named Kenzo Takada. Takada attended Bunka Fashion College in Tokyo and was one of the first male students to enroll. In 1964, he moved from Tokyo to Paris and opened his first boutique, which was called Jungle Jap. His first designs were very bold and sort of all over the place because he could only afford to buy fabric from flea market sales. In 1971, he presented his collection in New York and Tokyo, and he's sort of famous for doing over-the-top and wild things. In 1978 and 1979, he held his fashion shows in a circus tent, and he had horsewomen performers wearing transparent uniforms, and he came out in the end riding on an elephant. He launched his first men's collection in 1983, and in 1988 he started exploring an actual perfume line for his house, and they launched it with a fragrance called Kenzo for Women. But the house actually released its first fragrance in 1978, which was also for women, and that was called King Kong. So they enjoy playing on the jungle and animal theme. So 78 was their first fragrance, 88 was the perfume division of Kenzo. And their first male scent was Kenzo Pour Homme, which launched in 1991. A lot of guys out there like that one. And the Kenzo scent that I sort of look at as synonymous with the brand is Flower for Women, which was launched in 2000 by Alberto Morales. It has a good 15 flankers. Kenzo was bought out by the Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy Group in 1993, and Takada retired from the company in 1999, though he has gone on to design some of their home decor and furnishings. They currently have a total of 94 fragrances in their catalog. Power, as you see in front of me, was launched in 2008 by Olivier Poage. This is the guy who did Dior Homme, Flora Botanica, Kir Beluga for Guerlain, Midnight in Paris for Van Cleef & Arpels, Spice Bomb for Victor and Roth. So this guy has a very thick resume. The notes on Power are spicy notes at the top, coriander, bergamot, and cardamom at the middle, and amber and woodsy notes in the base. Now, as I said, I think this one is discontinued, but I'm not sure. It's pretty hard to find it online. I found a 75 ml bottle for sale on FragranceNet for around 30 bucks, so that's where I bought it. And you can find its flanker, Kenzo Power Cologne, easier and a bit cheaper. Now, as far as your presentation, box says Kenzo Power, and you have a flower. You have information on the bottom. You have barcode and batch code on the back. On the bottom of the box, you have the concentration and the size. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not 75 ml, it's a 60 ml. You have a little bit of information on this side in white, and that's basically it. Your bottle was made to look like a sake bottle, and basically Kenzo Power. There's a flower again there on the bottom. It's sort of steel. The cap is fairly light, and the atomizer is not so great. You get a pretty good distribution of fragrance, but it's sort of a weak spray, and it's not actually the bottle isn't actually perfectly round. It's sort of got this weird squarish circle shape. It's got like straight lines here and then a curved top. So definitely an interesting bottle, but one that I really like and I think looks great in any collection. But the scent for me on many different levels is a juxtaposition. You get this beautiful silver cologne, as I said, and it's called Power. So you think you're going to get this masculine powerhouse scent. And for me, what I get out of Power is a melange of white florals, a tad bit of citrus, some wood, and some spice. And you know, that doesn't sound bad, right? It sounds like most fragrances, but the problem is that I have with Power is that it's just so faint. That the last adjective that I would use to describe this fragrance is power. It opens up with some bergamot and spice, and to be more specific, the spices that I get out of this are cardamom, coriander, and a bit of white pepper. So that's what the top is like to me. And then within a half hour or so, you get to the middle stage, which throws some white florals into the mix. And at this point, the fragrance is really faint. It becomes a skin scent at that point. And then after an hour or so, it totally dries down to a very nondescript amber and cedar and sandalwood scent. The performance on this one for me is awful. It's so bad that I really did some research to see if maybe I got a fake bottle, but it is legit, and this just doesn't perform well on my skin at all. One of the worst designer performances, if not the worst, in my collection. For when it does last, it smells like a fragrance that would do best in the spring. I think it's too light for cold weather, and just for me, not really fresh enough for summer heat. I think men and women could both pull this off, as it has a bit of a feminine edge to it because of the florals. So it is a unisex fragrance, I would say, and it's totally not offensive. You could wear this for any time or occasion, but I get almost no projection or sillage, and the staying power is a couple of hours at best. If you were looking for this sort of light floral fragrance for men, I think there are just better options, and better options specifically even from this Parfumé. His masterpiece Durhomme is an iris-based scent. If you're looking for a citrus and white floral scent, check out Bergamoto Marino by Gianfranco Ferri. And there's better options out there from this house. As I said, Jungle is fantastic. Is pretty good, and even Low Par. Those are all just much better than this one. I think someone who is trying to sell you on this would say that the presentation is beautiful. It's become harder to get, and maybe you will like it. Some people, including a few subscribers of mine, swear by this one, but on my skin, it's just a snooze. I think someone trying to convince you to pass on this would say it's too nondescript and generic, and there's no reason for you to go out of your way to add a bottle of this one to your collection unless you're a hardcore collector and want to flesh out your Kenzo library. That's where I fall. I just think that with so many great fragrances out there, and even better ones by Kenzo, this one makes no sense. And if it is getting discontinued, I completely understand why. And if it's just being phased out, that makes sense to me as well. I'm going to give Power a 3 out of 10. I think for the price, the scent's a joke. It performs pathetically on my skin. It's hard to find. And for me, it's not worth the money. And you're speaking to a fan of Kenzo. I really like Jungle. You know, maybe I'll review that down the line. That's a really different, spicy, sort of bold scent that nothing else in my collection smells like. I'm gonna go out of my way to spend a lot of money on air. So as I said, I am a fan of Kenzo, the clothing and the fragrances, and I definitely plan on buying and then keep exploring the brand after that. But this one, guys, it's just over my head. I don't like it. I don't see its value, and it doesn't enhance my collection. It doesn't really add anything new or different. So I'm not a fan of Power, unfortunately. But I'd love to know what you guys think of this one. And for those of you that have experience with Power Cologne, the Eau de Cologne, please let me know about that one, because maybe that's the one that I should be trying. But hope you have enjoyed this review. We'll be back obviously next week with a new one and more videos. Thank you so much for watching. Any questions can go to maxmno@gmail.com. I'll see you guys again real soon. I'm Maximilian.
I hold a 4-5 myself and hop out the range on 145 myself. This is a true fact. Since when has it become cool to get shot and not shoot back? Trackmaster shelf.